and it's a pleasure to speak at your conference. So what I'm going to do the next few minutes is walk you through the presentation to explain what we are, what we do, and what are our plans.
Okay, I'm going to go off here. Normand, just let me know when you're ready for the Q&A.
Thank you. So the company was created in June 2018 as a new gold explorer in the James Bay region of Quebec. And this was done by merging two companies plus assets of a third company. And that allowed to have a highly prospective land package in the Eeyou Istchee James Bay region of Quebec, which is the new gold mining camp, the emerging gold mining camp in the province of Quebec. That is why we created the company, and also to have 100% of our flagship project, the Sakami project, where since then we've been drilling to advance the deposit to the mineral resource estimation stage. So we have lots of targets. It's a very prospective project, and I will illustrate that in the slides to come. In addition to that, because we merged two companies, we inherited a number of non-core assets, not gold, not James Bay. And over the last year, we have generated about $1.5 million in cash plus some shares with the companies with whom we've transacted with those projects. The company was created with the assistance of Goldcorp then, that operated the Éléonore mine. Now it's Newmont, and they are the largest shareholder. And this is one of the largest gold mines in Quebec. We have a proven management team and board, and since the creation of the company, we did two raises, one at the creation and one at the end of 2018, totaling $12.4 million. Our share structure is as follows. We have 67 million shares outstanding. Our market cap today is slightly above 16 million. We have $2.5 million in the bank. As I mentioned before, we have Newmont as our largest shareholder. We also have Quebec institutions. The second largest shareholder is Caisse de dépôt. We also have Sidex and Investment Quebec. Management and board and directors plus PE partners together have just over 10%. Jean-François Maillard, our president, is the managing partner of PE partners. Eeyou Istchee territory, outlined in blue on this slide, is about 60% of the surface area of France. It's well known for the hydro-powered dams that were built in the 70s by Hydro-Quebec. So it provides good infrastructure, which we will see on a subsequent slide, but also has been a subject of exploration, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, which led to the discovery of the Éléonore mine, shown on the left in brown. Number of companies have been active in the area, and here we're showing our flagship project, Sakami, and the other project we have. I want to highlight the new Éléonore discovery done by Hazimut in early 2020, and next to it, we have a project called Éléonore East project, where we've been doing surface work, and I've got some very encouraging surface results, which I will refer to later in the presentation. It's important to mention that this region is where the Cree Nation lives, and they are very supportive of economic development. They have signed 3 agreements with the province of Quebec, including one last year, to foster economic development. We have established a good relationship with them. They are one of the greatest beneficiaries of mining activity, principally through the Éléonore mine, and we want to continue to build that relationship over the years to come. Our team, I've been introduced. Jean-François Maillard, our president, has got significant project management, strategic marketing, and capital markets experience. Jean-Sébastien Lavallée and his father have known the project for many years. I've known the area for many years. Their knowledge of the territory is invaluable. So Jean-Sébastien is our VP of Exploration. Robert Boisjoli is our CFO. Lots of experience with publicly trading companies, including exploration companies. We have also Richard Nieminen, our latest addition, as Senior Exploration Manager. He's a geologist with lots of experience in Quebec in gold and has participated in 2 discoveries in Quebec. 4 independent directors, John Hick, lots of experience running companies, including gold companies in Quebec and elsewhere. director of a number of companies. Mario Caron is a mining engineer based in Toronto with John and Charles, Maine, and lots of experience, again, with junior exploration companies. Dominique Dion is a public affairs person, many years with Xstrata, more recently with the case, and she was also, for a while, the chair of the Quebec Mining Association. That is our team. Our plan for the next 12 months is to continue to do our field work. There are some pauses because of breakups in James Bay, but you can essentially work 12 months of the year. We've announced earlier this year that we're drilling 14,000 plus meters at Sakami to take the resource to a 2 million ounce level. This is what we need in James Bay to have a standalone operation of sufficient size. Our goal is to identify such resource and then sell it to a prospective buyer, a major mining company that wants to develop it. So we've been in that process since we created a company, and we continue to drill to achieve our goal. I've mentioned the monetization of non-core assets, and the two that are remaining include one which is a rare earth project called Kipawa, which has a feasibility study on it. Also, we're looking at other projects in James Bay and elsewhere to be acquired. That's part of our job. So that is an ongoing process. To compare James Bay to Abitibi, Abitibi being well known, 100 years of gold mining history, we can look at these two maps at the same scale. We can see lots of drill holes from government information in Abitibi, much fewer in James Bay, which shows that James Bay is still immature, it's still early days. It's like scratching the surface in Abitibi 100 years ago. That provides tremendous opportunity to find deposits and mines for the generations to come. Focusing on our land package in the James Bay area, you can see our flagship project with some of the key results we've obtained. For example, 80 meters over 1.15 grams per ton, including 25 meters at 2.21 gram per ton. We have high-grade showings. We have significant mineralization over a large area. I will illustrate that further. We also have project in the area Charles, Blanche, and Éléonore trend, which we'll go back to and do more surface work. I will describe the Emerald East project at the end of the presentation, where we will achieve some very encouraging gold, but also base metal value. The last thing I want to point out on this slide is this purple line, which is the contact between the Upper geological subprovince and the La Grande geological subprovince. This is where you find gold. This is how the Éléonore mine was found. It's a regional guideline to find gold along the contact. And as you can see from our land position, we're along the contact or close to it. Looking at a Google Earth image of the area, you can see the power lines in purple. You can see the James Bay Road on the left. That is actually a paved road. And it has a 47-kilometer access road we can use during the winter to transport supplies and equipment to the La Pointe area where our main camp is. We also have satellite camps on the project. And this is very good because it allows us to work 12 months of the year at a reasonably low cost. Very important. We also illustrated here are the location of the various Cree communities, Wemindji, Chisasibi, close to our project. Looking at the Sakami flagship project now, on this map we showed the results of the compilation of airborne mag surveys, which help you better understand the geology and the structures. You can see the purple line, the favorable contact, which is on our project, is 23-kilometer long. This is like having the Val-d'Or camp on one project. You can see also the alignment of that contact with the stars, which are the showings. High-grade showings are shown here, and also sub-parallel features that also control the mineralization. Most of the work has been done at La Pointe and La Pointe Extension, which is our discovery in 2020. And that is shown in the rectangle in red. Looking at the geology of the La Pointe and La Pointe Extension area, first of all, I want to emphasize the scale. La Pointe Extension, which we discovered through drilling, but using before soil geochemistry and induced polarization surveys is 3,500 meters long. La Pointe, where historically we've done the drilling, is 950 meters long. So lots of room to find our target 2 million ounces in that volume. We have, as far as the geologist is concerned, a volcano-sedimentary package and also sedimentary package of the Epinaka, which are metamorphosed or cooked up to a species of metamorphism called amphibolite, and that's favorable again for controlling gold mineralization. You can see the trend that's oriented west-southwest to east-northeast. The host of the mineralization is a silicified pyrites. It's fairly homogeneous, and it's bordered by intrusions and amphibolite. The horizon itself is up to 100 meters thick, with some disseminated arsenopyrite, a bit of pyrite and peritite, and quartz carbonate mainlets. The way to find the mineralization is to, of course, do compilation of the existing information, but what has been very successful is to do the IP surveys and also soil geochemistry surveys. And on this map, we have superposed the two, showing the IP anomalies with the soil anomalies. And you have a corridor shown with the white dotted line showing the prospective areas. And we have new anomalies that have been identified from our recent work, and those are outlined with the red dotted line, and we're going to be drill testing that as part of this year's program. Looking at a perspective view of the area, we have here the La Pointe deposit and the La Pointe extension, showing the dimensions, and we have plotted here times, so true thickness times grade, to give an appreciation of mineral concentration. And you can see with colors in red and purple, we've got some high areas of much higher concentration. We also have found an interpreted fault plane, which has helped us to guide the drilling we're going to be doing in 2021. Looking now below surface, this is a 3D representation of grade thicknesses, contours. We want to show the La Pointe deposit and La Pointe extension, and where it's open along strike and at depth. And the areas that are shown in a perimeter that is colored red is where we have scheduled our drilling for this year, to expand La Pointe to the west and La Pointe extension to the southwest and northeast. And of course, there's the opportunity to expand the mineralization at depth. At La Pointe, you can see the typical intersection that we've been getting from historical drilling. So the drill length can vary from 12 meters all the way to 64 meters in grade from 1 to 9 grams. We have done 132 holes so far on the deposit, and over 40,000 meters were drilled since 2001. At La Pointe Discovery, which we announced in the spring of 2021, again, we're showing where we're going to be drilling in the area shown in red in 2021, and the interpreted mineralized volume that we have. And in there, there's enough room or enough volume to have 2 million ounces confirmed. Looking at La Pointe extension discovery again, some of the highlights of the drilling that we've achieved, such as 151 with 80.1 meters at 1.15, including 24.85 meters at 2.21. So very significant width and good continuity. And what's exciting is to the southwest, where we can see the areas of greater grade times thickness open at depth and along strike. So we drilled 30 holes so far, just over 8,000 meters, and we have 3.5 kilometers to test. I want to switch now to El Maurice. El Maurice is an area where we already had 2 claim blocks following the announcement by Esmit of their discovery in early 2020. We've added to our land position, did a mag survey, and we also did a compilation of all previous work done in the area, combined with the use of artificial intelligence with the participation of gold spot discoveries. And that led us to rank targets and go to the field. And we identified what became the Lloyd discovery, a prospecting discovery, where we obtained on surface, on grab samples, just below 18 grams per ton gold. Then we went back and then did some channel sampling. And you see here a helicopter view of the area with the values for gold, but also significant values in a number of cases for zinc, lead, and some copper. The results from the channel samplings are shown here in the area which is about 60 meters long with gold, but also silver, zinc, and lead, as I mentioned. And this is hosted in a wacky or paradise, and it's a system of quartz veins that are cross-cutting this host rock. We are very encouraged by the discovery. We're going to go back this year after the snow melts to identify areas to expand this quartz vein system. We'll be doing mapping, sampling, geophysics to then identify the best areas to do further work and eventually drill. So to summarize, we have in QPM a company that has timely and exploration and drill results from its flagship Sakami project that we're advancing to the mineral resource estimate stage. We have significant potential for additional discoveries on a large land package located around the mine called Éléonore that is operated by Newmont. We have strategic investors in the form of Newmont, but also are supported by solid shareholders from Quebec institutions. A good team, a good board. We have money in the bank and the ability to raise capital. So these are all good reasons why you should be investing in QPM. On this note, I will end my presentation and be happy to answer some questions.
Okay. Merci, Normand. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly. Thank you,
okay,
John.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll start off. First question from Barry Allen, mining analyst at Laurentian Bank Securities, just asking for specific timing on the resource update.
As said on our plan, we want to be ready by the end of the year. We don't have to disclose the resource estimate, but we want to be ready by the end of the year after we've done our drilling to have a resource estimate disclosed.
Okay. Next question. You mentioned you have 2.5 million in the bank. Would you be needing to raise more capital soon? So I guess I would have a follow-up question to that. Is the drill program that you have planned currently, is that fully funded with that 2.5 million?
The winter program is fully funded. I mentioned in monetization non-core asset, which has provided extra sources of cash. We are receiving proposals for financing, and we are evaluating them as we speak.
Okay. And I'm going to throw my own question in as a follow-up there, Normand. Newmont is your biggest shareholder. Do they have a right to maintain their pro rata ownership in any financing? And would you say your relationship with them is, positive to the point that you would expect they would participate?
So very good question. When we created a company with their support, Goldcorp at that time, they have certain rights. One is to have a technical committee, which meets every 3 months to review results and also provide input in the planning process for the exploration work. And we have 3 people from Newmont that are on that committee that work with us. Relationship is excellent, very good technical input. They have a right to match financing. They have done that at the creation of the company and then at the end of 2019.
Okay, so they have a historical record of they want to keep their ownership in the company, and that's good to see. So there's another question about financing here. I think we just covered that. What is the company's overall strategy when it comes to, are you looking to explore and then sell this project to somebody else, or would you potentially be looking to explore and then develop the project? Explore and sell.
As I mentioned, we believe that the greatest value creation is when you identify a resource and sell it to experienced group organizations that are able to develop it the best way possible, mining companies. This is what we want to do. That's why the company was created. We are explorers.
Okay. And Sylvain just asked a kind of a similar question to what Barry asked earlier. When would the resource calculation be released? Normand, did already ask that question. Joanne is asking, does Newmont have a right to the project, like a right of first refusal, or would it just be, or is their participation limited to the financings?
As mentioned, the rights are technical committee, participation in the financing. The other right that they have, it's public information, is that if a royalty is created, they have a right to match, to buy the royalty.
Okay.
These are the rights.
What would you say are the key advantages to exploring in the James Bay region and in Quebec in general?
James Bay, tremendous potential for, in general, but especially for gold. So you're dealing with a new Abitibi. You are able to work 12 months of the year with good infrastructure and the support of the Cree Nation if you work in close collaboration with them. Quebec, of course, Quebec is well ranked. Number of success stories here in Quebec, especially in the gold sector. Good tax incentive, good infrastructure, qualified workforce, good database. So a good place to do mining business.
Okay. And just to expand, I guess there was a question here about the partnerships with the Cree Nation. Can you elaborate a little bit on what partnerships you have established, and are there any other future initiatives that you would be looking to start with them?
So concretely, we have involved Cree or First Nation individuals in our programs. Just before the pandemic started, we had them help us with the snow removal of the road. We want to get them involved because they have a construction company. They have engineers and some of the early design for an open pit dam structure that we're looking at. We want them to become shareholders, and we will have, hopefully soon, our annual meeting there. It couldn't happen in 2020 because of the pandemic, but we want to do that. We want them to become a stakeholder that is significant for us.
Okay. And obviously that helps align their interests with yours as well, which is never a bad thing.
That's correct.
I don't see any more questions here, Normand, but I maybe have a couple I could throw out. I was just curious for so you have your winter program. You said it's fully funded with what you have in the bank and your existing other assets you could sell. What would you be looking at sort of as a follow-up summer exploration program? How many meters? And do you have an idea of which specific parts of the project you would be, focusing on per se?
So the follow-up program in the fall would be more drilling at Sakami, at La Pointe extension to expand it as much as possible. So something like a 10,000 meter program is what we have for that scenario.
Okay. And what do you figure you'll need to raise to fund that, if you can share that?
So drilling in the area where we're working is about $250 per meter. That includes everything, including lab. So if you're going to do 10,000 meters, that's 2.5 million.
Okay. How has your turnover been with the labs? Just out of curiosity, have you had any struggles that way with getting assays back?
Well, everyone that works in gold in Quebec has had struggles. We're using the largest lab. They had to implement a protocol. We did also for field work, but for COVID. But on top of that, they've been losing people. They had to recruit people elsewhere. They had to train them. The volume has been very high. They have to ship pulps elsewhere. So the turnaround has doubled, looking at 8 weeks typically. We'll see what's going to happen this year, but it's been an issue. And to the point last fall, we basically had to turn off the drill because you have to wait for results until you decide where you're going to do your next holes.
Right. Okay. I might have missed it earlier when you were talking about the infrastructure side of things. I know you showed some slides that you have road and sort of power in the area, but I don't know if I caught exactly how far away from Sakami the road and power would be. Like how many kilometers or meters are we talking with respect to running like a road and power into there?
So let's go back to this slide. This is 47 kilometers. And that's a winter road, essentially. This is James Bay Road here, is a paved road. The power lines are shown in purple here. If there's a power connection, probably come from this area.
So distance-wise, what are we looking? Just approximate numbers.
Well, you see 47 kilometers here. And then this is less than that, about 35 kilometers.
Okay. So that road you drew from the James Bay Road to La Pointe, that's
a paved road. That's a road that's used all year round. It's a highway. Okay. It's an actual highway.
Okay.
In James Bay. It may sound strange, but this is remote, but it's accessible. It's good infrastructure, built by Hydro-Quebec. It's been there for a long time, and it keeps getting better.
And if this project were to be put into production, is there any? I know obviously this isn't a maturing district as opposed to a mature district like Abitibi. Is there any like toll milling capacity or anything that's?
We're looking at a standalone project here because we're looking at open pits, so large tonnage, low grade. You would have to justify its own mill. Obviously, the mine has its own mill, and there's capacity there, but it would have to be much higher grade to use that at the mill, at the mine, at the moment.
Okay, and you're about 40 kilometers away from the Éléonore mine?
No, by road it's about 250 kilometers. Crowfly, it's about 90 kilometers.
90 kilometers. Okay. Well, I've asked a bunch of questions. I'm not seeing anything else. We can wait a couple minutes just to see if anything else comes in. If you're listening in and you have a question, now is the time to ask. Just going to go through just to make sure I haven't missed any. Have you had any the last financing you did, Normand? I'm always curious. Did you have a lot of new money come into that financing, and have you been?
This was a bought deal that was done with the Laurentian Bank Securities.
Oh, okay.
And included existing shareholders such as Newmont, the Caisse de Dépôt, and other new shareholders as well. It was a combination of hard cash, charity flow through, and Quebec flow through.
Okay. And can you envision something similar in the future?
Our preference would be to do hard cash and charity flow through. These are the proposals we're receiving now.
Okay. And maybe one last question with respect to those non-primary assets, like the secondary assets that you inherited. You still have, if I understood you correctly, there's still one or two of those left that you can sell. What's the?
Yeah, if you go to the back of this slide deck, I'll walk you through that briefly. So this is the Kipawa Zurs project. We have 68% of the project. Investment Quebec has 32%. We have claims that we 100% own. A feasibility study was done on it about 10 years ago, and that's for sale. $36 million was spent to develop the project and do the feasibility study. And then there's a project where we have 50%. It's actually in Ontario, close to the Hall Palm mine that Newmont operates. Our partner is IEP, which is a private company, and that is for sale.
Okay.
So more information can be found on our website as well. We have processes going on for both assets and hope to conclude those this year.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we can end it there then, Normand. I don't see any other questions coming in. Any closing comments you wanted to provide to people? Maybe a good question would be if anyone wanted further information, who could they contact?
So this is the contact information. Again, I thank everyone for attending the presentation. Feel free to reach out to us, and we sure hope as a result of this presentation, we can have more shareholders for the company. Thank you, John.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you as well, Normand.